Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing, and another coin update here for my beautiful subscriber that has requested these 5 coins or so on a daily update. We love doing this, and we're going to do this on our beautiful screen as we promised them and give them a more in-depth video here. And you can see we've been in this falling channel, and we're still creeping down towards that underneath target, and not a lot has changed. And you can see we're in the 2-hour time frame, but this is a newer coin, so we're going to go to the hour time frame. Move these over a little bit, right? Come on, laptop, don't blow up on me. And you can see we're sitting right on this lower part of this falling channel support right now, and we got no volume. It's decreased volume, and you can see our low was back here on a wick. So we know, just like some of these other coins, XLM, XRP, they like to come back down and hit that low, and then if it wants to make a nice pump, then it can make a pump up into here. This may be a nice buy zone for a swing trade. I would keep an eye out on that to see how it interacts. If it can hold that as major support as we zoom out, that could be a spot that you get a buy. But then you do notice this wick is down lower, so you might be coming. If you can't hold that, your next underneath target is down here. If you can't hold the 0.008 level, your next underneath target is this green ring right below it. We'll move that out into the future a little bit, and that's down at 0.007, right? That's a pretty significant drop from this level with our industry exclusive measuring tool. That would be a 12 to 13% drop, and you wouldn't want to be involved in that. But I'm thinking this blue ring's going to act as support and at least get you a nice pump up into the 0.009 range. I think there's a medium likelihood of that happening, right? So I would pay attention for that, and anybody else that's watching this coin, as the price has slowly been starting to slow down in its downward descent, which may be meaning the buyer or the sellers are being exhausted, or the bears, right? And then you could get a pump at least up to here, and that would make sense. And you could trade down to the ring again, then trade up to the red ring and trade within between this for a little bit of time. That's possible, but this could be that would be a nice 17.69% pump, right? And then the 200-day moving average in green would be downtrending and slithering like that, and that would be acting as overhead resistance. If you want to get ultimately bullish right now, you got to get over that 200-day, hold it as support, get over this purple or red ring, and then start shooting up to the top part of this channel, right? You've done that multiple times. You may do that again, and usually people like to say you play the pattern until the pattern breaks. And right now, if we zoom out to the 4-hour time frame, you can see the current pattern has been, oops, delete that. The current pattern has been to be trading within this channel. So you can see back here, we were at major upper resistance the first time through the pump. Then we had a crash in an up and down fashion, hit lower support. Then we had a pump, hit upper resistance once, twice, a fake out way up, then came way down to lower support for a second time, then got bought immediately back up and hit upper resistance multiple times before trading down and sideways on a nice sloping fashion, and then hit lower support again. So that's happened 3 times now. The prior 2 times, once, twice, 3, this is actually the 4th time you bounced off it and came back up to upper resistance, right? So if you think that's going to happen again, this would be the 4th time you would play it. It hits it and it goes back to upper resistance somewhere up there. So we're going to watch out for that in this coin, because this has been, some could say, a huge bull flag after a humongous pump, and then this down and sideways consolidation could be considered a bull flag. But anytime, if you're thinking it's a bull flag, the flag, how long that is, seems to be longer than the pole. That's usually not very good for that. That means that it's not good. You don't want that to happen. You need the flagpole to be longer than the flag. Like if the flag was down here and then broke up, that's very bullish. But being down here, that's not bullish at all, because the flagpole is longer. The flag is longer than the pole. But you could still say, obviously, you got this descending channel here. I'm not calling this a bull flag, because if you were calling it a bull flag, you would have been playing from the bottom to the top of that flag to the potential point of a breakout, which you would have thought it would have happened somewhere in there. But now, if it happened down here, that would be where you'd be playing that way up there. But I do not think this is a bull flag, because this is a lot. This is too long. This is just a falling channel or falling wedge right now, which if it breaks out to the upside, its targeted move is the top of the channel, right? Which would still be a phenomenal move. And that's what's going on there. So that's what I would watch out for in the Revain coin. The ZK tube is similar. You can see we've got this rising wedge up there that we diagnosed, sniffed out, and detected. We can get rid of that now because we knew that was going to initiate a flush. But you can see now what it looks like from the far out time frame. You can see we've had major overhead resistance like that, a tightening trading range now. We were very volatile up here, and now we're getting a lot tighter, which usually signifies maybe the pattern is trying to change. So right now what you got going on here is you got your major overhead and underneath support and resistance like this, right? So right now, if you're playing the pattern, this box up here is major resistance because the moving average is, but you got your overhead resistance within the current pattern at $33.19. You got your underneath support, if we draw this down even more, sitting at, we could say it's both of these at $24, right? Then we have an underneath support from an old pump down here. That's another support area. We're going to do that, and then we're going to make that much, much smaller, right? Then we have that, and then we got your overhead resistance of the descending line in this falling channel at $33, right? On the current price, on the current day, 33 bucks. So that's what we're looking at from here, right? So now if we zoom out on in here to a closer time frame to give us more data points, we can see the moving averages, the 50, the 100, or the 200, the 100, and the 50 are all trending parallel to down, which is bearish, right? Because they're going to be coming at it from an upward angle, and that's bearish. That forces the price down, right? And you can see there's your overhead resistance from when we were zoomed out. You see we're getting close to that 50-day moving average, and it's rejecting the price, right? You see that we're starting to get rejected by this 50-day, and the yellow and white are the short-term moving averages. So if you can't get up above this and try to trade to the moving average, which I do not think you're going to do, I think this is going to force you down in an up and down jagged fashion, and I think you're coming down here to this underneath target within this falling channel. I think this is where you're coming down next. You could follow this ring down to it, and you got multiple areas. You got this blue ring, this underneath horizontal support at $25, and this descending channel all in the same area. I think this is where the price is coming down to next, is from 32 to 24, and then that might be a good bounce area to have buys around the 23, 24, $25 level. See if it can hold it and then bounce back up and trade back over into here and hit this channel as your next overhead support or resistance, like it did back here. It hit the channel and got bought back up and hit it as overhead resistance, and then it's traded down to where we're at now, right? So that's what I'm watching out for. In the ZK tube, the Dapp, you can see what I think we're forming is a bearish consolidation pattern here, as we've been very bearish on this coin. You can see we got your overhead resistance. It looks like you're forming a little pennant there, which on a breakdown from here, the breakdown of the pattern would be from there to here to the point of a breakout, and that brings you right down to our next underneath line that we've been watching at 0.002, right? This has been what we've been watching as your next underneath support. After we got supported on this after a flush, we got a little consolidation here, and that would be your flush down. Now if you decide to break up with this consolidation, your target on the upside would be from the point of a breakout, would bring you right back to the 200-day moving average, but would still be a nice move if you could break the overhead resistance at 0.0028331. From the breakout, that would be a 7% pump. On the breakdown, if you did it right here, would be a 13 to 14% fall. So that's what we're watching out for right now. And Dapp, you can see if we zoom out to a farther time frame, this is a much longer bearish continuation pattern. But if we look at it from here, we got your overhead resistance right there, and then we got your underneath support trading sort of like that. So this is another bearish continuation pattern. But this one could be a reversal where if you slip down and you break down out of this miniature pattern in the closer time frame, you come down and retest this low at 0.02, that could be a bottom, and then you start trading up, and then you trade out of that, and your technical target would be up here, right? So that's what we're watching out for in here. We're in this bearish consolidation pattern. This is a critical area. If you can break up out of this, you can make a run up to here and then try to get out and move north and break back up after this last flush that we've had, right? We're keep a close eye out on this. And Dapp, Divi is another one that is bearish right now because we went over in prior videos in this rising channel channel that we were in, and we've now broken down out of that. If we zoom on in and do a closer time frame, we got our volume indicator traded range down there in green, but we've broken now out of this. And when we started talking about this, we were way back up there, right? So now we've broken down out of this, and now what you're going to look forward to is if you can't get some support anywhere in here, this is your last area to get supported. If you keep falling right now, right in here where all these wicks were, if you can't get supported down there, like you fall back into here and then trade back up and try to get into this blue ring right there, you're going to keep trading down, and you're coming all the way down here next to 0.07845, because unfortunately I feel like you're coming down to this green support volume traded range right after you broke down out of this falling channel or rising channel. I think you're coming down and you got to touch this volume traded range, right? I think you got to at least come down here in the immediate short term. But if you try to get some support here and get some bulls to come back into the market, your overhead resistance is this 200-day moving average in this blue ring, right? This 200-day moving average would be sliding down like that, and this would be your major upper resistance right now. But I think in the short term, you're coming down here, right? I just feel like you're coming down there. That's what it looks like to me in the immediate short term. And then as we wrap this phenomenal update up, we're going to look back at Nord. You can see we've broken down out of that consolidation we were in with the blue ring as your overhead resistance, right? Come on, off there. Where your blue ring was your overhead resistance, you've hit it multiple times on our chart. You've hit it once, twice, 3 times. You've hit it once at and got rejected at $7.55. Then you got rejected at $6.94. Then you got rejected at $6.46. And then you got short of it, but $5.50 and flushed through that support line because you had an uptrending support line. And now, like we talked about on the coins earlier, they like to come up and back test it. And then this would be a great area to back test this old overhead support on the when it was on the top side of it, where it flushed support, then it flushed support 2, then it flushed support 3. Now it's going to be resistance on its way back up, right? It's coming back up, and now that's going to be overhead resistance, and that would be a great spot for it to come up to get rejected, and then to come back to this target that we have now at the top of this volume traded range at $3.86 is where your next underneath target is. And your overhead target is $5.53 as major resistance, and your underneath short-term support for a bounce is $3.86, right? Like, subscribe, and share to Vincenzo's Go Crypto Investing. Peace and love. Peace and love.